Everyone. I'm Sibyl Star, and I am here to give the astrology forecast for the upcoming week of October 30th to November 5th. We're still in the energy of these eclipses, the solar eclipse that happened on October 14th and the lunar eclipse that just happened this weekend on the 28th of October. And this energy is going to last for at least a couple of more weeks. But we also have something also very significant happening this week, which is the feast, the holy day of Samhain. It is the Celtic wheel of the year. It's the what we also call a cross quarter day, and it is the last harvest festival. And so preparations for winter have begun. And in the Celtic wheel of the year, it was actually the beginning of winter. And this starts on October 31st. We celebrate it as Halloween, but it actually in ancient times was like a week-long festival, and it would culminate with what we call the actual astrological cross-quarter day of 15 degrees of Scorpio. Okay. And of course, it would have been the Druids in the ancient days that would have determined this day. But as the Druids really left the more, Celtic worlds and the Catholic Church came in, it became a fixed holiday. The Catholic Church aligned the Samhain with their All Saints Day. Okay. Anyway, but it is a time when the fields are bare, and the leaves have fallen from the trees. The skies become gray and cold. It is a time of the year here in the northern hemisphere when the earth has died and gone dormant. And so it is an opportunity to celebrate the cycle of death and transformation, and then rebirth that happens in the spring. And for many pagan traditions, Samhain is a time to reconnect with our ancestors and honor those who have died. It is a time when the veil between our world and the spirit world, the spirit realm, is thin, and so allows increased communication with our beloved dead. And the thinning of the veil works both ways, because this is also a time of the year when many souls take their opportunity to cross over, to transition into other realms. And I worked for hospice as a nurse for many years, and I can tell you it's absolutely true. During this time of the year, is like the veil is open and many souls cross over. Okay. And like I said, the actual astrological cross quarter day is 15 degrees of Scorpio, and this year it occurs on November 7th. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's just continue with the astrology. So we have the sun in Scorpio this week. And I forgot to look up the degrees, but let me look this here real quickly. So it is from I'm going to say 7 degrees to 13 degrees, 7 to 13 degrees of Scorpio this week. And of course, Scorpio is the archetype of the shaman, the detective, and the guiding principle of Scorpio is I desire. It really activates strongly our desire nature. The ancient ruler is Mars, but the modern ruler is Pluto. And they say that, Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. Okay. And so in Scorpio, the desire nature is more like a slow burn that grows with time and can finally erupt like a volcano. Scorpio brings in growth through deep emotions. Scorpio has come to feel every human emotion. The thing is to not get stuck in one emotion thinking this is the way you're going to feel forever, because it will move. It is a sign of depth, intimacy, and extremes of feeling. Okay. With Scorpio, superficiality will just not do. And also, like I said, it's the archetype of the detective. And so it likes to get to the bottom of things. Scorpio looks under every stone for, what is true. And all that is interested and all that is hidden taboo, secret, or suppressed. Okay. Scorpio is the sign that makes the unconscious conscious. It brings light to the darkness. But first, we must shine that light within to become a healer and a light bearer for others. Okay. Because that is what is really about, is about as Scorpio brings in the need to do our own healing so that we can be a healer for others. Okay, it is passionate, strong-willed, and intense. It's one of the most healing signs in the zodiac because of its transformational nature, knowing of when it is time to let something go. The dead, the stagnant, it's like the snake shedding its skin. Okay, but the shadow side of Scorpio can be jealousy, vindictiveness, and manipulation. Okay. All right. Now, during this week, Mercury and Mars are still traveling close together in Scorpio. And so, Mercury is the mind, it's how we communicate and perceive the world, whereas Mars is the warrior. It's about how we go about getting what we want. It's our direction in life, and is brings in courage. Okay. And Mars is also the energy that helps us set boundaries, where we say no, because it does bring up conflict and how we deal with it in the world. All right. And so anyway, Mercury and Mars together is about speaking our truth. But knowing that it's also an aspect to Jupiter in Taurus, which I feel like balances it out, knowing that we can speak hard truths with kindness, but we can also use our words to hurt. And like I said, an aspect to Jupiter, it's really bringing in the generosity of spirit and the impact of kind and inspirational words, especially when we speak to ourselves and to others. We can change the whole dynamic. We can use our words to uplift and build bridges when we speak from the heart. But like I said, we can also use our words to hurt others, to incite violence, hatred, and divisiveness. And there's a lot of misinformation and lies in our field right now, especially on the world stage, because we know Scorpio can be very manipulative. So that is also a time of great potential manipulation. And like I said, we're being asked to build bridges, not create chasms through judgment and anger. But I would say it could be a time of peaceful protest, however you want to do that. Important to make our voices heard in a way that creates peace, not more divisiveness, and to know that it starts in our hearts and our personal lives. So anyway, I just want to continue over also with the energy of the eclipse, because we're definitely still in this energy. And so the lunar eclipse happened on Saturday, October 28th, and we're still in the midst of that energy. And as well as the solar eclipse, because the solar eclipse is actually what it was the intention of the eclipse, and the energy really lasts about 6 months. I don't know, I'm going to say that differently. The energy lasts several weeks, but the impact, the intention lasts for 6 months. And so the solar eclipse said to me, it was in Libra on October 14th, and it was the message that came through was so much about be the peace we want to see in the world. And then the lunar eclipse, was kind of like one of the first directions. It said to be the calm in the eye of the storm. Okay. And like I said, we're going to be given guidance over the next 6 months and all these different steps. But a Scorpio, we have so much energy. We actually still have 5 planets in water. And we have a lot of emotional energy, and Scorpio represents the emotional storm that is swirling around us. And with the storm can come the ability to feel suppressed emotions that have been lying below the surface. Because, as we know, Scorpio says or Pluto says we got to feel to heal, and to know that storms can be purifying. and cleansing. Actually, just think about how you feel after a storm has come through and everything feels fresh, and all of the, the clutter and the kind of a lot of the dead branches and things in our physical environment have come down that can't withstand the storm. So it's like a real cleaning up of energy that is either not authentic or not vibrant or not true to who we are. Okay. And I found this beautiful quote. Well, I mean, it came to me from someone named Joseph White Eagle. And he says, to an enlightened soul, spiritual growth is assured after each storm in their life dissipates. When we can count our blessings through the good and the bad our soul is going through, the learning process, and we are then evolving closer to source. So it is a learning process to go through these storms, and our souls do evolve, and the storm eventually dissipates. Okay. And to know that the energy is coming to the earth, as we know, in an eclipse, it blocks the light of the sun, and so it allows these more cosmic energy in our field. And so to know these energies that are coming in are so powerful, and that anything that is not aligned with love is being pushed to the surface for healing. Okay. All right. And so also, like I said, to be the calm in the center of the storm. And I got this image of, instead of be the calm, be calm. Yeah, the storm is swirling around, but be calm. Find your center. And to know nothing is under control and everything is under control. And it's the same, it's a paradox. And so, it's the universal love underneath all this chaos and turmoil remains constant. Okay. And that is the only thing that is real. And the ego says, once everything falls into place, I will find peace. Spirit says, find peace, then everything falls into place. Okay. And I want to share an experience that I had on the lunar eclipse. I went to a beautiful redwood forest that we have here where I live. And it was right during the lunar eclipse. And I did a meditation. And we have there's a beautiful fairy ring of 7 beautiful old, I mean, they're not old growth, I'm sure, but they're old, they're big. Redwoods that and while I was there, the Divine Mother spoke to me, and she told me that this woods was her sanctuary, and that there are sanctuaries all over Mother Earth, sacred places where magical energies live. And it is actually, she told me that the woods was had a 5th dimensional vibration, and as part of our ascension process is to align with these 5th dimensional vibrations, and why when you go to the woods you feel so peaceful. But what she told me was, during the times ahead, it is so important to find our own sanctuaries in nature, because she is giving us guidance, and this is where we can replenish, restore, and find our center, find our calm in these storms. Okay. And while I was there, I had an experience where she told me to open my heart to love. And as I did that, all the pain, I was just feeling such a release and diminishment from anything I was carrying in my heart that wasn't aligned with love. And she told me love heals everything. Actually, I was asking her what to do about the world and she just said, love heals everything, to open our hearts to love. That's it. All right. So, and she also told me one more thing. She said that wars are fought over who owns the land. She said, no one owns the land. It's her body. It's Mama Gaia's body. And that we are all caretakers, not owners. And when we remember this as part of our paradigm shift. Okay. All right. So anyway, and there's more to come, but I just wanted to share that piece because it was so powerful. Anyway, this week, The sun is opposite Jupiter in Taurus on November 2nd at 10 degrees. And of course, Taurus is related to the body. And so I feel like it's another piece about being the embodiment of peace, of that, whatever word we want to use, calm, tranquility, gentleness, stability, whatever it is that aligns us with our center and aligns us with source, aligns us to our truth and to source. Okay, that is where we find the peace. But to embody that, to walk in the world in that way. And a friend of mine shared a meditation that came to her that was really beautiful. She talked about having an inner temple of peace, and how in meditation we can connect to this inner temple. And then, as we are all in our inner temples coming together to create this field of peace, although she referred to it as a wave of peace. So, this field of peace, of how we come together by connecting our inner temples of peace, because this is how we're going to shift the paradigm, not just the situation, but the paradigm is one of the ways. But I also feel like Jupiter opposite the sun is so much about consciousness expansion, and especially through kindness and generosity of spirit, and how we share this to create a unity consciousness. Yes, and I think the word that actually came to me was a unified field of peace. This is where we are heading. Okay. And the thing is, when we walk in the world as the embodiment of peace, generosity, and kindness, each person we touch, we change the field when we are in the field, and each person we touch is changed. It's also a time of gratitude and giving thanks for all of your blessings, all of the blessings in your life. Say thank you, bring me more. But the shadow could be having unrealistic expectations or overextending yourself. Okay, so that's true, and especially in finances. All right, so we also have a couple of other significant things going on this week. We have Mercury in Scorpio opposite Uranus in Taurus, and let me see, and that's around 21 degrees. Let me make sure of that. Okay, yeah, it is on November 4th at yes, 21 degrees of Scorpio Taurus. All right. But it'll be in effect all week. Yeah. And so when they say, Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It's the higher mind. Some call it the divine mind. So it is the divine mind infusing our own mind. But you may feel like your brain has been hit by lightning, having so many insights and transmissions coming at once. And to also know with Uranus and Taurus, it's a lot about the wisdom of Mother Earth. It's kind of like the experience I had in the woods. It just felt like Mother Gaia just opened and spoke to me. And you might find that is happening to you. Because she wants to say this, she is one of our primary guides in the moment of this ascension, because we're ascending with her. Also, to know there are cellular upgrades happening and activation of our light bodies. And so your body may be speaking to you. So listen to it carefully as to what it needs. Okay. It may be telling you to slow down and take care of yourself. And also, it's important to know with an opposition, others may not understand what is coming into you right now. So it might be best to just kind of let it settle within you before, or put it this way, only share it with people that you feel would really get it, because many people won't. All right. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is Pluto. Excuse me, is Venus. The goddess Venus is opposite Neptune and trine Pluto, exact on November 4th. And Venus, of course, is goddess of love, self-love, and love of others. And Venus seeks beauty, harmony, and balance. And of course, she is related to inner peace. And so because that is that harmony, that serenity, that balance that she is seeking. For when we are balanced and in right alignment is when we are calm and peaceful. Even if the world is swirling around us, it allows us to have that peace place of inner calm. Venus is in Virgo, where she is thoughtful, considerate, enjoys being in service, and often healing through medicines of the earth and random acts of kindness. Okay. The shadow, of course, can be crippling self-criticism. Now, opposite Neptune, Neptune, and Neptune is actually the higher octave of Venus. So we've got both going on. We've got Mercury and Uranus, that is the higher mind and the human mind. When with Venus and Neptune, we've got human love and divine love. And Neptune is called the divine heart. Okay. And so the goal is for human love to become divine love. Okay. So we're being asked to open our hearts to compassion. So many people are suffering now. Um, there is a card in a deck that I use called the Galactic Astrology, and someone pulled this card. Lisa Royal Holt, actually the creator of the deck, pulled the card Unconditional Love for the month of November. And I think that's just so appropriate, because that is what we, and this is the actual one of the Arcturus cards, because they say, the energy of Arcturus is that of unconditional love. And Arcturus, of course, is still conjunct the South Node, and it is in Libra, ruled by Venus. And so it's this piece of unconditional love that is the, what should they say, the broth and the cosmic soup in which we live. And to know it's actually that kindness, love, and compassion is always the right way. And we are held in this love, for this is the only thing that is real. And to also know that this is so much about the love of the Great Mother, and that we're held in her arms all the time. We are never alone. Neptune is that part of us that reminds us that we are part of something greater than ourselves, that we are not alone. We are never alone. All right. Anyway, and also too, we can always ask for help. Always ask for help. Sometimes that's all the spirits in the invisible world need, is our permission to say, please help me. And so if you're at that place, just really open up to that. And we can certainly call them in to our prayers and meditation for finding our inner peace and changing the paradigm here on earth. They're actually here to help us do that, to help us shift our consciousness. Okay. All right. So what is the moon doing this week? All right, on Monday through mid-Wednesday, the moon is in Gemini. And a Gemini, is a more fun energy. Scorpio's pretty intense, it's got a deep stuff. Whereas Gemini says, don't take yourself so seriously. It's the trickster, it's the heretic, okay? And to know that, once again, Gemini is a sign that lives in paradox. Right. But Gemini is also the sign of the twin. So I feel like a piece of Gemini is always about the integration of our own inner duality and polarities. It's the integration of light and dark within ourselves. Anyway, with the moon in Gemini, we are motivated by a desire for variety and are very curious. Gemini is lighthearted, breezy, and likes a good joke, and likes to talk. Really likes to communicate, have really good, intense conversations. All right, mid-Wednesday through Friday, the moon is in Cancer, which is, of course, much more sensitive. They say Cancer is ruled by the moon, so it's very lunar, can be very moody. And to know that you may go through a variety of feelings, especially with the sun in Scorpio and the moon in Cancer. Your emotions may really be very near the surface. Okay. But Cancer can also be clannish. I mean, there is a need for belonging and safety. So there can be that tendency to kind of, come together as a clan, which, can be very supportive, but it can be very, exclusive instead of inclusive, can create sometimes the us versus them mentality. Okay. But it's a very healing kind of an energy. And the moon is opposite Pluto on, what day did I say that? On Friday, because Pluto's in the last degrees. So you might feel especially super sensitive on Friday. It's at its most sensitive here. But Pluto wants honesty, and so it requires some emotional maturity, and that some things brewing under the surface may rise to the surface to be addressed. Okay. All right. On Saturday and Sunday, the moon moves into Leo, and Leo is the sign of the divine child. It's a warm, generous, wholehearted, loving kind of presence. It's a time to have some fun and be creative. All right. And also too, it's also a time to allow ourselves to be loved. We might need some attention. We might need to be noticed and to just recognize if that need shows up within us and and ask for it. All right. Have a wonderful week. And if you like this video, please check like and subscribe. That really helps me a lot. And if you're interested in a reading, I'm going to be giving my information in the description box below. And I will be running a special holiday discount for the next 3 months from November, December, and January, because everybody likes to know what is coming up for me in the next year. So anyways, I'm offering a 15% discount. It's not there yet, but it soon will be on my website. If you're interested in a reading, just sign up and get that discount. All right, wishing you all a wonderful week and namaste.